You seriously need to get out of that trained, conditioned mentality that you can't do things on your own. You're incapable. You don't have what it takes. You're not able to do it. Like if you want to publish your own book, you start freaking out. I can't do it myself. I'm not going to be able to handle it. I don't know the process. I don't have what it takes. I'm not intelligent enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not well versed. Well, you learn, you know? You don't need somebody to help you eat or blink or breathe. You could do things on your own. You're not giving yourself credit. That's the issue. You're not giving yourself credit for anything you could do in your life because they motivated you only to be average and normal. And, everyday common folk, they only trained you to recognize your ordinary self. They never motivated you to realize your extraordinary higher self for a reason. So you've been living your life along the disguise of, I'm just like everybody else wearing that metaphorical mask. I'm not any special or any different than anybody else. That's why you don't compliment yourself and you don't raise yourself up. You compliment others because you've been trained to give away your power because you care more about what people think about you than what you think about yourself. That's social engineering. You can be responsible for your life if you want to be. Just take action. You have the ability to do these things. So therefore, you have a responsibility to do them. So if you got to understand, you have so much freaking power. You're not even giving yourself credit for it because they didn't tell you about it. It isn't just powers of manifestation. It goes way beyond that. You could literally do anything you want. Like, for example, when somebody wants to write a book, right away they panic and they freak out and they just collapse. Oh, I got to get a publisher and a literary agent. I have to go get this. I have to go get a copyright attorney because I can't do it myself. I don't know how. Well, then go online and teach yourself how to. It's real simple. It's very simple to do it. I copyrighted my own book. It was $65 through the government website. It took me maybe 20 minutes to go through the whole process of all of the lines of information. You send it in with the electronic payment and a PDF of your work, and they get back to you within a few weeks, and you get your certificate of copyright. It's registered with the government. You are copyright protected. It's so freaking simple. You don't need you don't need a copyright attorney. You don't need a literary agent. You don't need a publishing company. You don't need any of these things. You absolutely do not. You have to own your own work. You are capable of doing things you're not giving yourself credit for. You got to stop collapsing, like a quivering waste of jelly and say, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I'm going to panic and I don't know. That's how they control you. You have to take control of yourself. You don't need somebody to hold your hand in life all the time. You have to just say, listen, I got it. I can walk. This is the reason why religion is an emotional crutch for people who are mentally paralyzed. They're just too afraid. I don't know how to do this. How do I get to God? You are God. You are Source, expressing God's self in this form. They don't tell you these things for a reason because they don't want you to know. If somebody tells you something, that's because they want you to know. If they deliberately don't tell you and they leave it out, that's because they don't want you to be aware of it. So they don't tell you these things when you come to this world for a reason, because if you did know, they wouldn't be able to control you. You see, it's so simple. Take control of your life, not just one or two aspects or areas of it, but the whole freaking thing. Take control of your life. Stop plugging into a system that's dumbing you down and forcing you to dial yourself down in order to lift up everybody else. How many times you catch yourself putting other people on a pedestal? You know what you're doing when you're doing that, right? You're putting yourself down. How many times are you accommodating somebody else by inconveniencing yourself? How many times? How many times are you, giving people such compliments and motivation at the same time you're tearing yourself apart and you're giving yourself excuses why you're not going to live your dreams? That's social programming. They don't want you to accomplish anything in their system because if everybody's accomplished, then nobody's accomplished. If everybody's a billionaire, nobody's a billionaire. They have to have that space, that buffer that causes them to create this illusionary division called we're the elites, the upper 1%, and you're all trash below our feet. It's nonsense. You got to stop buying into this stuff. Stop feeding into it and stop being fed by it because it's poisoning you from the inside out.